love to imagine the revolution as all battles and glory. But first, it was voting, stealing, and some very loud arguments, like Thanksgiving dinner loud. Let's start with the stealing part. On April 21st, 1775, just before dawn, royal sailors sneak into Williamsburg and haul away the colony's gunpowder. The order came from Virginia's royal governor, John Murray, aka Lord Dunmore, and it set the Capitol on fire. Not literally, not yet. By sunrise, angry colonists were ready to storm this palace behind me. They feared Dunmore wasn't just stealing powder, but was planning on using it against them. Patrick Henry demanded the powder's return, tensions rose, rumors spread, as they always do, and then news of Lexington and Concord arrived. You know, the shot heard around the world. The revolution didn't just begin in Boston. Right here in Virginia, it exploded. Over 15 half barrels of gunpowder. Welcome to Williamsburg. This was Virginia's capital in 1775 and pretty much ground zero for revolution in the South. This is where Liberty learned to speak with a Southern accent, which I obviously don't have, but bless their British hearts. By 1775, Virginia was Britain's richest colony, and Williamsburg, its political and industrial heart. But tension was boiling. Royal Governor John Murray, aka Lord Dunmore, tried to shut things down, literally. He dissolved the colonial government, better known as the House of Burgesses, after they stood with Boston following Parliament's punishment for the Tea Party. Terrible idea. Virginians were not having it. So, they moved their meetings down the road to Raleigh Tavern.
Welcome to the Raleigh. Mr. Southall has the Apollo room ready for you gentlemen.
Because the Capitol was closed, Tavern would do just fine. And in May 1776, 2 months before the National Declaration, Virginia declared its independence right here. This is where Patrick Henry gave speeches that others were too afraid to give. Mainly speaking truth to monarchy. Henry was elected to the House of Burgesses in 1765. His first major splash came right here when he introduced the Virginia Resolves against the Stamp Act. That speech, delivered here in Williamsburg, was fire enough that some said it bordered on treason. That's right, the T word. He basically implied that King George might end up getting murdered like Julius Caesar. I bet the room got real quiet. Henry, along with Peyton Randolph, George Wythe, and other early patriots, debated here over what freedom really meant before putting it all down on paper, because you always got to workshop it first. This wasn't quiet protest. It was open rebellion with words, not weapons. Not yet. These debates influenced George Mason when he wrote the Virginia Declaration of Rights in 1776. And just a few weeks later, those same ideas showed up in a little document written by another Virginian, Thomas Jefferson. Yup, that guy. Grab a bar stool, but don't drink just yet because y'all gonna need your brain cells. It's pop quiz time. Did I just say y'all?
Yeah, you did.
See how quickly that changes when you come down here?
When was the last time you took a pop quiz?
Oh, it's been a while.
That's right, so you're well rested.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm gonna do well.
You like quizzes? If you get 4 for 4, I will email your history teachers personally. Tell them to give you a better grade, I promise. Okay, first question. Who was Virginia's last royal governor appointed by the king?
Ooh, we actually just heard about this one.
Was it Thomas Jefferson?
No.
John Murray, aka Lord Dunmore?
Maybe.
Patrick Henry?
No.
Or none of the above?
Might be the second one or the last one.
I mean, when is it none of the above?
I would go with Lord Dunmore.
I want to say Patrick Henry.
B? Lord Dunmore?
I'm gonna go AKA.
Let's do the B.
Mr. AKA.
Yeah.
Lord Dunmore?
That's the one, yeah.
That's good. You didn't get tricked by none of the above. That always gets everybody. It isn't Lord Dunmore.
There you go.
Lord Dunmore was the last royal governor, 1775. He lived right down there. He left after everything was going down, never came back. Perfect. 1 for 1. Good start. Speaking of Lord Dunmore, true or false? Lord Dunmore dissolved the Virginia House of Burgesses, which is right down there, and you probably walked right past it, after they supported Boston following the Parliament's punishment for the Tea Party.
Yeah.
And that's true?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds false. Remember, Lord Dunmore was talking about how he fled because he was united with the king, so he probably would enjoy the king's presence.
But like, wait. Read the question again.
I think that's false.
False?
What do you think? You think false?
We're gonna go true on that one.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm gonna say true. He did do that.
True? We have a true and we have a
dissolved.
false. One of you is definitely right. All right?
Who's
It-
right?
It's all right. It's true. He dissolved the colonial government after they stood with Boston. Yeah, he thought by dissolving it, it would dissolve the problem. Unfortunately, it just made things much worse. Much worse. Great. Next question. Where did Virginia's leaders go when the governor shut down the House of Burgesses? They gave up and went home. It was like, that's it. They moved to Philadelphia. They met at Raleigh Tavern down the road, or they moved to Mount Vernon.
Went to the tavern.
Tavern, that's the
Yeah.
only one that's nearby.
Yeah.
Do you think they would go to a bar to talk about serious issues like
Oh
this?
yeah, I do that all the time.
As we all do. Yes, all right, great answer.
Maybe. Let's go with it. All right, Philadelphia.
Probably met at Raleigh Tavern.
Do you think our founding fathers, to talk about big ideas, would go to a tavern and drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's absolutely what they did. Great job. All right, the government at some point did move to Philadelphia, but here they moved right down to Raleigh Tavern. Got some food, had a drink, and then talked things out.
They rallied.
They definitely rallied, All right, last but not least, bonus question. What was the name of the black patriot who became a hero at Great Bridge by ripping up wooden planks with his hands? Great Bridge was a battle that happened probably about 30 miles from here. And Patriot ripped up literally planks with his hands to stop British from advancing. Was it James Lafayette, Billy Flora, Prince Whipple, or none of the above?
Ooh, it's none of the
It's
one.
not none of the above.
Well, it
You
might
never-
be.
I didn't
It
put
might
two of
be.
them in there for no reason.
No.
I'm thinking none of the above.
No, it's not that.
All right.
I'll give you a hint. It's not none of the above.
James Lafayette.
James Lafayette would be a good guess, and he was actually a double agent, absolute hero for the Revolution.
Second one.
Ah, I'm
Billy
thinking
Flora.
last.
Yeah.
Florida.
I go with Billy just because it's such a casual name. But I don't know. I never
think
heard that
Billy?
story.
Yeah, and you're right, Billy. Good job, Dag. And that is correct.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Billy
I would have
Flora,
got
a
that
black
wrong.
patriot at Great Bridge, literally ripped up planks to stop the advancing British
Really?
troops. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, enjoy the rest of your time.
All right.
Thank you so much. It was so nice meeting you guys. We really do love a hero, and for good reason. Their selfless actions and sacrifice inspire us, and America has a lot of them. However, there are so many people whose real-life actions rival any superhero movie, but who have been left out of our textbooks. Enter Billy Flora, a free black man from Virginia who became a legend right here at this waterway. Black Americans fought for liberty and freedom on both sides throughout the Revolution, and especially here at Great Bridge. And when the Revolution came knocking, Billy answered. At the Battle of Great Bridge, he became the hero of the day. Picture this, Patriot militia holding a rickety wooden bridge against advancing British troops. The only thing stopping the Redcoats from storming across, a few planks pulled up in the middle, but it wasn't enough. Somebody had to stay behind and continue yanking up the planks while the rest of the Patriots retreated. So what does Billy do? He walks back across the battlefield, dodging fire like he was John Wick, except this was real. With musket balls whizzing past his head, Flora rips up the last plank leading to the Patriots' makeshift fort, slowing the British advance and buying his comrades precious time. That one act of courage helped secure a Patriot victory at Great Bridge. So while names like Washington, Knox, and Greene fill the textbooks, remember Billy Flora, a black patriot who stood his ground under fire and turned the tide in Virginia, and whose name needs to be included in America's story. Want to walk where a royal governor ignited a revolution and where Virginia patriots got their first major victory? Step into Colonial Williamsburg. Experience history like never before. And stop by the Great Bridge Battlefield and Waterway Museum. Because before the revolution exploded, it echoed through these streets and began on a wooden bridge. And check out the libertytrail.org for more stories, maps, and trivia about Virginia's Revolution origin story. The men and women who fought for freedom deserve to be remembered where they stood. Help safeguard their legacy by supporting the American Battlefield Trust. Next time, we head to where Patrick Henry sharpened the words that led to one of the most iconic lines in American history, like Eminem in 8 Mile iconic. But no mention of Mom's spaghetti.